Good morning, Chairman.
Good morning, Dr. Morton, and how are you?
Very well, thank you very much.
Great.
Just stay on the line 1 minute for me, please.
Okay.
How are you today?
I am terribly good, thank you. And you?
Yes, not too bad.
Great.
Yeah, we set off to go. It's another Friday. We thank the Lord Almighty.
Amen.
Mr. Odupong is here and ready to rumble. Mr. Odupong, are you here? They want to hear your voice. Are you here or you are not here? If you want to adjust the knob a little bit for me. Anyway,
good morning. I'm not on it.
You need to adjust your knob. Right. Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. We're live on Hits Africa Radio, just like we do it every weekend. This morning, we're here again to talk about very sensitive topics that transpired over this weekend. Yesterday was our Founders Day. I beg your pardon. I know you can hear some noise, but it should be fine now. Good morning. It's our usual Friday and the summary of the whole event that has transpired over this weekend. My name is Dr. Morton. I'm here with Mr. Odupong. This is It's a Freak. In case you just joined us for the first time, we talk about politics, especially on this day. Let me start off with Chairman Yorson. Chairman, I'd like
Hello.
to, so far, I know this is out of the topics we discussed. I put across last night, but what is happening here in the UK? Liz Truss and the Indian man. In your layman's understanding, with what is going on, how do you see the chances of both people?
Well, thank you very much for having me on this morning. I will say good morning to all listeners as well. What is happening here is quite straightforward. Mr. Sunak and Liz Truss are battling it to be the leader, the next leader, or even Prime Minister of United Kingdom. We are aware of it. I watched their interview last night, and one thing came clear. Mr. Sunak was up there with all his stuff and all that. Very impressive. But it is not impressions that can win him the election. It's the heritage, the tradition, and the culture that can be a basis for electing a future leader of Conservative Party and therefore Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. It's quite straightforward. Unfortunately, I've got to say the truth. Tribalism is topmost in this decision. Therefore, those of us who've got experience here in this country will easily clearly tell you that there is no way whatever Sunak can be a prime minister in the United Kingdom. It's not going to happen yet, not in the UK. Definitely they're going to vote for one of their own, Liz Truss. That is the brutal truth. That's the honest truth, without doubt. It's going to happen. If it is about the capacity of the personalities, yes, Mr. Sunak will make it. But here, we are not talking about the capacities or ability to do the job and all that. They will go for their own. That is the lady Liz Truss.
Oh, okay. You reckon?
I don't reckon it's a fact. It's true. It's a fact. It's obvious fact.
Okay.
If I may explain, the England men's team, for instance,
Mm,
going to the World Cup. If
okay.
it is about choosing the right candidates, the right players to go, you may probably have 11 black players representing England, and they may probably go and win the World Cup. But it's not going to happen.
Mm,
There is a cap on the number of black people who can represent England team at any particular time. I hope other people listen will understand what I'm talking about. Because when I came here, it was only 2 foreign players at a time that could
okay.
play in the Premiership. So I
Right.
hope I've made a point clear. Leeds
Well, you
is
have.
going to win.
Oh, okay. Well, you have, but as somebody would say, that is your opinion as to when you analyze things. Somebody might differ or might have a different view from yours. So we only live to
Absolutely.
see
And you're too
how
Absolutely.
loud.
it works.
And you're too loud.
Right. The let's come back to our African country. Anyway, before we go, now Ukraine, the little shelter the country has also been targeted by Russians, and apparently, I see Ukraine to be sitting on a time bomb in the sense that it's going to get to a time the country would have become disastrous in the sense that there wouldn't be a place to step a foot. You think the international world is doing enough in assistance to curb this problem?
Sadly, the international community it's not doing well at all because we have not got the right person working as a Secretary General of um, the international community, United Nations organization. We have got the wrong person at the top of affairs.
Hmm.
And if you got the wrong person as a leader, everything is bound to go wrong. He's not
Okay.
using his capacity, he's not using his powers to dictate the pace of the game, for which reasons United Nations organization was formed in 1945 and the charter signed here in Westminster.
Hmm.
That charter was signed here in Westminster, Methodist Central Hall, 1945. It was signed, United Nations Charter. But
Hmm.
if you got a wrong leader at the top, things go wrong. How can we expect Russia to be bombing Ukraine as we see? Could you imagine Accra or Kumasi being bombed, everything being bombed, companies and houses and all that being bombed? No. International community must say, stop, don't do this. If you got a problem, that is why the UNO was formed. Come, let's sit down and talk. Don't bomb or kill.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But the reason is that years ago we had Soviet Union, USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. And in 1991, early 1990s, it was all over. The USSR fell apart.
Hmm.
That's why we have Russia, Ukraine, and different countries hitherto which formed the United USSR. But Mr. Putin has come in and realized that, my God, we made a mistake. We should not have dissipated. And if you look at the United States of America, how many cities, how many countries? More than 50 countries making USA. And Russia, they made a bad mistake to break down the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. And now they know that the United States or the Western countries have aligned themselves to Ukraine. And therefore, it's going to be dangerous for them. That is why Mr. Putin wants to revive the USSR, knowing very well that Ukraine is in a strategic position not to leave the fold of USSR. That is what I know most people don't know until what I'm telling them today, they may learn. Most people don't know what I'm talking about. Ukraine is in a strategic position that Mr. Putin or the rest of USSR or Russian Soviet republics wouldn't want to let go. That is why. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any Ukraine war at all.
Okay. Right. Mr. Odupong,
Hello.
are you there?
very here.
Right, your take and your bit on the Ukraine-Russia war.
Well, good morning to our cherished listeners. It's Friday. We are back again.
Good
Well,
morning, sir.
good morning to you.
Yes, sir.
I have always said that Ukraine war is nothing to do with Africans. And so it's good we are not getting involved. Ukraine has had three leaders before 1970, after 1972, and the third leader chooses to take the country to war, knowing fully well that they have an agreement with Russia, but he decided to join the NATO, which is against the agreement that they have signed. And Putin will not sit down and let NATO come and fix right near them on their soil. Don't forget, Ukraine has Russia citizens, some affiliates, So really, the man has made a wrong decision by following the West. America, Britain, France, those who were urging him at the time, including our own current prime minister, because anytime the Tory government is in trouble, they always frown on war. Yeah. Hence, our prime minister was the first to support him and give him all the assurance, we will do this, we will do that. And the man was stupid enough to listen, and now his country is suffering. So Putin has also helped other countries like Syria and against other countries that the West have always got their arms ready to go and destroy. Okay? So the West needs to look at their foreign policy again. Whether it is good for them to get up anytime to go to choose a country and go and fight and go and cause trouble over there. The world is moved from the days when there was a one superpower country. Today, the world is not prepared to stand up for those anymore. It doesn't matter how little a country is. America, Britain, France, Canada, Australia, and their friends. They can't have it as easy as before. Look at Pelosi going to China. If there's a war tomorrow in Taiwan, who caused the war? Do we not think about some of these things, or we just do it because we think we have the might? So good luck to Ukraine.
Okay. Good luck to Ukraine. All right. So let's get down to Africa. Before we go on, I was asking Chairman about the Sunak, what is happening here in England. Well, let's trust these two people. It appears it's obvious that these two contestants is getting a bit tough, but Anyone you reckon could emerge as the winner of becoming a prime minister, Odupong?
Well, I mean, the winner is written on the walls.
Well, I can see that.
You know, since we've been here, at least, we notice certain things because, like Chairman Yeltsin said, the footballers or the teams, if they were to choose the capable ones or choose people on the capability, maybe England's team would have been all blacks or greater number of blacks. But we also follow something called equal opportunity. So, and we have so many people in the country, isn't it? So the system tends to share, you know, for people when it comes to choosing. But at the same time, there's also the tradition, you know, conservative follows tradition and culture. And their culture, tradition, they want a blue-eyed person, yeah? So if it was a man, yes, he will still win. This young man has got all the qualities and capabilities to be a prime minister. He speaks as well as any Englishman speaks, well educated and so on. When you are not looking at his face and he's talking, you don't see the difference, is it?
Does that make any difference anyway? I mean, is that a factor as part of a capable person of leading the as a prime minister?
But when you get his name, then am I hearing an Asian? Am I hearing a Pakistani? Am I hearing an Indian? That is where the difference is.
Okay, Chairman. Yesterday was Founders Day. Chairman is gone. Anyway, we can continue here. I don't know, he's disappeared. But I hope we get him back and then we can add him again. Mr. Odupong, our country celebrated the Founders Day yesterday. From transition all the way through PNBC era till now. Any progress you can tell?
I'm sorry, I was off briefly. I didn't understand. Yes, I'm back. And the question again, sir?
We were talking about, yesterday being Founders Day, and I nearly came to Mr. Odupong because he disappeared. Sorry. What it is from, the transition all the way through the PNDC era till now. You want to look at the progress, as I know you're very accustomed of the Nkrumah's regime all the way till now. How do you see, things? Is there anything at all we can hate our chest hard and say, we have really found? How proud are we with our leaders?
Thank you. I mean,
okay, go ahead, sir.
But is that the question directed at me? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Oh, I see. Oh, thank you. I thought I had Founders Day and the rest of it. If I'm correct, I would just say the Founders Day. We have lost the concept of a Founders Day, and the reason is that before Nkrumah was out, we had 21st September as Founders Day, his birth date. I understand the argument that it was not appropriate at that time. I mean, and so the NPP administration or the current administration has brought things on board to create August as 4th August or whatever as a Founders Day. But that concept too is misleading, because the real founders of Ghana are the Fanti Confederacy. The Fanti Confederacy. And people like John Mensah Saba and all these dignitaries, Kwejiri Agri and all that. They are the people we can talk on founders as a plural of the founders. You know, I would rather go back to those people who started arguing or debating with the British colonial administration. That's the real founders of Ghana. When the Fanti chiefs got the British governor and their affiliates to sit down and sign the bond of 1844. These are the critical points we can look to determine founders of Ghana. Those people who did those things in those days for the white man to agree to sign the bond of 1844 are the critical people to be called founders. I must be honest, I love Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah just came to do his bit, continued, that's fine. But the real founders were there even long before maybe Nkrumah was born. The real founders are the people I'm talking about. These are the Fanti chiefs of the central region of Ghana. They sat down with the British governor to map a way forward. And therefore, we've got this all confused and all that. I know MPP wants to play politics with this, but we are not playing politics with this. Genuine and real founders are the people, the first people of the Gold Coast, who fought in the British system, sat down, debate. Why do we have Sabah Hall in the University of Ghana? Because we know what John Mensah Saba did in those days. We know what he did. You see, so if we want to call founders, let us look back beyond Nkrumah, beyond JB Dankwa, Buzia, and all that. And we shall find a better way forward if we are so worried about our founders. There are founders, but are the old men and women there. Santua, people like Santua, Asante women who led men to war. Those people who fought for emancipation. So when we say founders, we must think about those people. Santua, Ashanti region. A woman that leads men to war. It never happened in any part of the world. But it happened in Ashanti Kingdom. Yes, sir. Yes, that's how I will answer it, because it's not just Nkrumah or just JB Dankwa or Busia and all that. Santua, Fanti Confederacy, the bond of 1844. Then we know the real thing we're talking about. Look at the slave trade that happened. The slave trade that happened. And all these people were fighting the British forces to go. That's why they sat us down, we sat them down, we wrote a bond of 1844 to make sure they left on 6th of March 1944. And the Englishmen didn't leave until Nkrumah went to the Gold Coast in 1947. They made him a secretary of the United Gold Coast Convention. Then Nkrumah said, listen, the white man must go. JB Dankwa, Obechibi Lamte, and all these people, Kufadu's father and all that, they did not understand when Nkrumah was speaking. They said, oh, Nkrumah, Nachwi, Below, Siabutar, and all that, be patient. Nkrumah says, no, there's no patience about this. Today we are talking. If a Ghanaian man or woman in the UK has not got their papers right, has overstayed their visa, what happens? Dr. Morton, what happens? Odupong, what happens? I have been on the plane from Heathrow Airport to Accra, and I've seen a Ghanaian young man in handcuffs.
Oh dear.
Two British police officers, one woman, one man. in handcuffs. They sat in the middle of the, and I said, "Excuse me, what has this man done? Has he created any problem?" They said, "No,
He's an
but
illegalist.
he was being deported to Accra, and they
Oh,
wanted to. The Home Office wanted to make sure that the guy actually has left." I said, "Listen, but we are on the plane. Release these handcuffs in case of emergency. Then we both of
we can
everybody
all.
knows what to do. But if you
Yeah.
handcuff yourself because it's one man, huh? You know." So the reason
Yeah.
I'm bringing this is that the bond of 1844, we gave them 100 years to live in the Gold Coast and go. So they should have
Mm.
left by 6 March 1944. But then Nkrumah was there in 1947, they were still there. And JB Dankwa, United Gold Coast Convention, big guys. They say, Nkrumah, relax. But Siabutal, blow, naturally. That's why I brought all this. I know you don't understand what is naturally. Naturally means be patient, Dr. Morton. Do you understand? See,
I think
so we
when
signed that
promotes a
bond.
man of languages.
Yeah, you see, they didn't understand Nkrumah those days. Nkrumah meant that they must go 6 March 1944, but they didn't until they struggled and independence, and they got Nkrumah led to get the independence. That's why 1957 we got the independence, and that's why July 1960, I think 60 or 1960 or 61, we got a republic. For all of them to go back to UK and for us to have our own country. So these are the critical issues that we must remember and find a way forward for our country. 6 March 1944. That's why Nkrumah used 6 March 1957 for our independence date. 6 March 1957, taken from the bond of 1844. Fancy Confederacy chiefs sitting with the Englishman and say, "My friend, let us sign a bond, and at that time you leave our country." Dr. Morton, have I been able to convince you?
You have, and then added
Or
a
not
bit that
yet?
I don't know years ago till now. Do appreciate that. Right. Next topic. I've got the African nation expected to make case for big rise in fossil fuel output. And the story continues to say that the exclusive leaders expected to say at COP27 they need access to these oil and gas reserves despite effect on global heating. Anyway, before we go on, Segabo has written something that I'd like to read to the public hearing. At least you had your fair share of it. You must have gone through. I'm going to read yours as well, probably in response to that, which I believe would spark a bit of topic. It's not too long. Don't worry. I'm going to read what Segabo has written, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so from Segabo Files to Newsfile UK at Politics in the UK. Our dear brother Rishi Sunak's relatively deep-seated knowledge, in fairness, due to his stint at the Treasury and experience of working with Boris Johnson, and his setting up of the follow-up scheme lives and livelihoods during the COVID-19 that seem to be to have clouded his mind. By all intents and progress, he strongly believes that he knows how the British economy functions more than many people in the country. It is not about whether he will win the contest to number 10 Downing Street and not. He is seen as a traitor among politicians at Westminster. The final results of the conservative political leadership is a foregone conclusion, and Sunak himself can be and predicts it. He, however, has succeeded in making a big statement that children in the country can achieve more than what they could even imagine or began for themselves. Now he boils down to the Ukraine and Russia war. The biggest nuclear power plant in UK and Europe is in Ukraine. Now, according to the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, he is worried about the position and safety and the nuclear power plant. While the Russia troops are controlling the plants, the operation of the nuclear plant under the Ukraines, it is hoped that common sense will prevail to enable the UN inspectors to monitor the plant. Politics in Ghana. It comes from topic after topic. This probably would be the founders. Is that whatever we and the level of our socioeconomic achievements in Ghana today is due to the Founders Day. Yes, Nkrumah led us to achieve independence at the shortest possible time, but long trail and struggle for independence in Ghana didn't emanate from the Nkrumah alone. When a ticket was bought for Nkrumah to come over to Ghana, the political background for Ghana's independence had already been prepared. It was a collective enterprise, hence the Founders Day, not Founders Day. Please check where the apostrophe is. I hope Kofi Ali listens to this. In response to something that we discussed with Kofi Ali, who thought the country has not founded anything. I thought if Kofi Ali is here, probably he must have responded to this, but that is not the case. It's just to say that that is just his version of opinion. Right. Finally, he writes, our dear brother, is that what I've already read? Okay, that's fine. Chairman, that was it. I'm sure he sent you a reply or a copy of what he sent me, in response to this. There's a lot I would have continued, but, at least let's leave the summary. That gives relatively an open mind as to what he sees with the British politics. So Sunak, the Indian prime minister, who is vying to become a prime minister, like your views are, this is what Gabo thinks. Now his version on Nkrumah's, and then his contemporaries who helped with the founders, the names as we talked about. Some are of the view that it was just Nkrumah's effort. Some believe that it's a collective idea of other personnel, all a few men who helped out in finding independence. What do you make of this? Or what is your take on these, in response to this?
I'll start by saying that a little learning is very dangerous for all of us. A little learning is dangerous to humanity. My lecturer told me, I never forgot that. If you are studying something and you start from the middle without going through the preface or the introduction and without knowing the conclusions, that would be very dangerous. You can't start reading a book from the middle. You got to read a book from the beginning to the end. Then you'll be comfortable talking about it. So Gabo picked on one thing when a ticket was bought. Bought by whom? When? Where? You know what I mean? He must come out, be forthright. That is the story of the new patriotic party. Let him tell the whole world. Nkrumah was in Trafalgar Square in the United Kingdom, London, campaigning for freedom for Africa, not just Gold Coast. He was very articulate, and the men and women of the world all saw this African young man chanting for freedom for Africa, not just Ghana, but he happened to be a Gold Coast person. At that time, there was no Ghana. He happened to be a gentleman from Gold Coast. So, United Gold Coast Convention, that was also has been formed in the Gold Coast, also doing the same thing, planning for independence and for the Gold Coast. schools. Yes, they started UGCC, financed by Power Grant and a Zimmerman from Western Region. Jebidankwa and all the people, all the big guys were in the UGCC. But they all happen to be lawyers. Lawyers know a lot, but they do not know everything. Lawyers, they know a lot, but they do not know everything. So all the UGCC men there were lawyers. Kwame Nkrumah was the only political science student, but he was a poor guy. He had no money in his pocket when he was shouting in Trafalgar Square. He was even a cleaner in London. So he had no money, no shame. And Akunwa J, also a lawyer, saw this guy in the UK, and that's why he went to tell the people of the UGCC that it's an African guy, a Gold Coast person in London who is very articulate, and we need him to be part of the UGCC. So Sir Gabo's narration that they bought a ticket, it is true. The people of the UGCC, they paid for his fare to get on a boat, not even a plane. Those days, getting on the plane was a different thing. So they paid for his fare, it is true. But one thing Sir Gabo doesn't know, one thing the MPP doesn't want to tell people is that Power Grant, who financed the UGCC, was a rich man, the richest man among UGCC. Power Grant, just like Kennedy Japan of MPP or Kozindom of Progressive People's Party, always there must be one particular person financing the political party. So Power Grant and his man, Western Region, he was financing the UGCC, but for him, he was a merchant. He was not a politician. But he supported the idea of fighting for independence. That's why Power Grant was inside there. So if anything, a ticket was bought, even paid by Power Grant, Papa Grant. Do you understand? So I like Sir Gabo saying the ticket was bought for him. That's why I've explained how the ticket was bought for Kwame Nkrumah's Power Grant's money in UGCC that they used to buy the ticket for Nkrumah to go to the Gold Coast.
I see. Anyway, Mr. Odupong, you have been around, like Chairman also have been around. Did he ask you the last time if you had an encounter with Nkrumah? I shook the hands of Rollins when I was at primary school. Did you meet Nkrumah? Did you shake his hand? Did you have the opportunity to meet him one-on-one?
Well, I met Nkrumah when I was
5.
I think there was something going on with the Pioneer was it Akim Swed Road?
When I finish, I'll come to my CEO, how old he was. Nkrumah was because my CEO, I don't think he was always hiding from Nkrumah. I don't know what it was, but yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So
just by the way,
there was the rally, and DC Kwachi was there. Have you heard of DC Kwachi?
I've heard of DC Kwachi.
Yes, and some prominent people as well.
Was that Kwame Kwachi?
Yes,
DC Kwame Kwachi. That's right.
Achimda.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Nkrumah is a nice person and a humble man, and he took the mantles of Ghana with the invitation, as we have heard. But you see, our biggest problem is because we do not write. Yeah. We have lawyers in those days, and as we have educated people here today, we didn't categorize the things that they did in those days. So hence, we have come to meet confusion today. who is our question we are asking ourselves is, who is the founder? And I like Kofi Ali's argument. Kofi Ali put two arguments yesterday.
Oh, you went through, you must have seen it on the platform.
Yeah. Where he talked about a founder as a singular person, and a founder, and he used the OAU for that purpose. And a founder with other people, in collaboration with other people. So it depends on how we want to look at it. And it looks like things has been what it is today for us to understand that Nkrumah was the founder of the country. But Nkrumah was invited into the country at the podium declaring Independence Day. We didn't see some of the people who invited him. Yeah? Why were they not there?
That's a good question.
You see the Ghanaian character of selfishness, greed, and envy. It lost them their status. Yeah? Today, the same people want us to believe that they were the founders of the country. But with their wicked intentions, yeah, they wanted to bring this man down. So today, the man has been given the title as a founder. I'll say good luck to him in blessed memory.
Okay. That was Mr. Odupong sharing his views. But okay, so it's about 13 minutes to hit the top of the hour. It's 12 o'clock. And that's when I'm going to open the phone lines to join and different views as to, how people make of the founders, the achievements, right through the, PNDC era, all the way through the Nkrumah's regime till now. What has the country actually achieved? My bit is, although I wasn't around when all these things Mr. Odupong and Chairman are telling me, just a bit that I've read about. Obviously, it's not like when you practically seen things with your eyes. I came during Rollins' time. Well, as I said, I was during independence once. I shoot Rollins' sons, and at least that alone, I feel it brings me memories that amplifies my thought that, listen, I've met the then president. Anyway, you're still on Hits Africa Radio. We are live every Friday between 10 and 12 on summary on issues that has transpired over the week. You can call us now at about 10 minutes, and then it'll be 12 o'clock. I'm just trying to look at the views of what people make of these topics we've actually raised, and then we'll look at your concerns. Okay, Mr. Odupong, let me come back to you. During the times where all these happened, I'm pretty sure you were young, if not 17, 18, or let's leave that. But if you compare how you saw Ghana and now, you want to have a word or two as to what has changed and how things has come to.
I think there has been a big change, and a big change for the West. And there again, we can say every time or every moment speaks for itself. In the days before independence was Gold Coast. When the British were there and they ruled Ghana through the governor. There used to be a lot of goods, commodities people were, you can go to the market or the shop and buy things. And then after independence and Nkrumah started to...
I've seen Mr. Kwabenamwa waiting to be joined. See you will have a look on the Skype, I think. Anyway, yeah, go on. I'm sure he'll deal with that.
Yeah. And his black man being capable of ruling himself ideology. So there was came confrontation with the West as usual, because they didn't want to share the resources with us, as they have always done, wanting the resources of Africa for themselves, but rather, not wanting to share with us, the people who have their land and their resources. They want it at all costs, with force, and it has been till to date. So there were times that in Nkrumah, even our cocoa were not exported. Ghana went into difficulties.
Yeah.
But after that, the coup, and then one leader after the leader from I'll say, is it Liman's time or Rollins? No, I'm getting confused here.
Well, it's all good. Maybe you have to go back to your books and reflect on what exactly it is, and so where you can come back with the facts, because I'm on a platform that people are keening on almost everything.
Yes. So let Mr. Mwako continue, maybe.
I'm trying to get him hard up to it, but I don't know. It's not becoming possible. I would just like to continue from there, because we have just about 5 minutes, as I said. We don't have much time to open the phone lines, and then we can join. So what I'm saying is, now, people of our times will say, and the Mafuyabe, we can't compare the two. We can only reflect on what is happening today. I'm not sure we can talk much about Ghana as you were those times. At least you saw things with your eyes, regardless of whether you were old enough or not. But today, somebody would say Ghana is difficult. Things are hard. Could you have said that during those days, Odupong?
Probably.
The Peswa and the Teku and Sampua.
Probably, but I'll say those days were good days that we've had in Ghana. Life was comfortable. Maybe we were not as enlightened as we are today. So, for me, that life was comfortable. I didn't have to buy, because my parents bought for me.
Oh, okay. Then you have less responsibility.
So not too much to worry. Life was comfortable. But today, it's a different ball of game. I feel sad for the young women of today in Ghana.
I don't know.
And I also feel sad for the young men as well.
Right.
And the fact that what is even worrying is that they've become so much interested in making quick money. That is what has caused the problem.
Okay, let me look at this. You remember during Rawlings' regime, especially when the armed robbers and all that were being dealt with. We don't seem to see now. There's a spate of them. You don't see armed robbers being dealt with, like as we see today, because otherwise, our security would be safe. But we don't seem to see that anymore. Would you blame our leaders, or is it the fact that I don't want to give the fact that some of the factors includes maybe there are no jobs. Somebody will say there are no jobs and things like that. I believe there were armed robbers during your time.
Yes,
there were criminals.
Criminals, as long as like prostitution is part of human journey, it will be there, but it can also be minimized. Yeah. But today, all our attention and our focus is on how to win elections and power. So our state security, police, army, anything, including what is sadly termed as these young people.
Young pioneers.
No, Young Pioneers, we were good. Young Pioneers was a good organization because it taught you how to be a citizen. I'm talking about this two parties with their hooligans. What are they called? The name is... these hooligans in the parties cutting one another's head and shooting one another's, So that is what the country has become. We've neglected the actual government governing to people doing what they call tashika. Is it
Kashika?
Takashi.
Oh, Takashi. Yeah. Okay. Now let me go back to Chairman and then ask him how things were till now. I don't know if Mr. Amwako is there. Good afternoon, Mr. Amwako. Are you there, please? I don't think Mr. Amwako can hear me. All right, Joe. Is that Joe I'm hearing? Joe, are you there? I think they both joined the Skype, but I can't hear them. Anyway, Chairman, I was asking Mr. Odupong, the state by then in terms of security. If you look at the spate of armed robbery today, I mean, those times, what I remember is a bit of the PNDC era till the NDC when Rawlings was very active in dealing with crime. You remember, was that terrible as it is these days?
No, it was not at all.
People are being attacked. People are being slaughtered like fowls, and
no, it was not. In Nkrumah's government, you wouldn't dare. She wouldn't dare because there was employment. There were jobs for people to do. And those who finished schools without any positions, they put them in workers' brigade.
Okay.
Workers' brigade, that means they had something to do for a wage. Some went on the state farms to work as farmers, farm on the lands and all that. It was great. And there was no such things as armed robbers, which Rawlings regime brought, So there was not that kind of poverty for people to be stealing, to be doing armed robbery. Armed robbery was not in the equation of Ghanaians. And this was a gentleman who was ruling the nation properly. There were jobs for people to do. But compared to today, you have hundreds and hundreds of people walking on the streets of Accra without jobs. And that makes them find ways and means of getting money. God knows, doing all sorts of things, Sakawa and armed robbery and killing people for their properties and all that. So I will say yes. In Nkrumah's time, there was no such a thing there. Even if I wouldn't say there were no criminals. Criminals have always been in all parts of the world, but you would not even. There were no die-hard criminals openly seen. As we find today in 2022, go to Accra, go to Kwame Nkrumah Circle today. There are thousands of people walking around. A lot of pickpockets amongst them. And Nkrumah Circle was a clean place. You couldn't even see 30 people at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. You couldn't see 30 people standing on there. Today, when you go to Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Orion or Lido, just that opera cinema, you see thousands of people. I walk there and I get scared myself, but because it never used to be like that. You could count the people on the streets of Opera in that kind of area. And no doubt there were armed robbers or pickpockets amongst them. There was no such a thing. It was calm, clean. Kwame Nkrumah Circle was a clean place. Today it is not.
Okay. Anyway, good afternoon, Joe. Joe, are you there? I'm struggling to hear Joe. Joe, can you hear me? Okay. So we would say that things have changed. Is it for good or for bad? Because Joe has joined the Skype. I'm trying to see. Hello, Joe. This is Mr. Mwako. I can't hear any of them. Anyway, Chairman, so why is it that? Why has things, deteriorated to the state of this general feeling of insecurity?
It is because of bad governance or bad government. That's all. Simple. These political parties cannot manage the country.
Okay.
They cannot deliver the manifesto promises. People are expecting. The Ghana government MPP government is not delivering, or NDC government did not deliver. They believe with the promises. That's why they queued to go and vote. After voting, it becomes a battle. After voting, these people becomes lords over Ghanaians. You cannot challenge them. When you say fix the country, they say, hey, why do you say fix the country? And some get killed in the Ashanti region. Ijura. They get killed because they say fix the country. And these are frustrated young men and women who have no jobs. That's why they're saying fix the country. And the Ghana government, the MPP government doesn't understand that language. And when you do that, it creates an uprising which nobody can stand. We saw the Arab Spring. We saw that. And we saw what has happened in Sri Lanka. We saw it. When people are frustrated, there are no jobs, no money is in their pockets, and they are not small boys. They are married people or people of marriage who have attained the age of marriage. They got wives and kids to look after. And what do? You are frustrated. And when human beings are frustrated, they do the impossible things. By all means, they find a way to get money to look after their wives and children, just as the top politicians are looking after their families. For them, they are poor. They have a rich age of marriage, or they've got children. They cannot feed them. They cannot feed their wives. Frustration. They will do anything to get money. That's what we have created, armed robbers and all that. This is what it is about. Pure common sense.
All right. Good morning. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Joe.
Yeah. Good afternoon, boss.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well by His grace. How about yourself?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. I'm sure is your Father's Day and a few contemporaries who helped Ghana survive till now yesterday. Chairman, can you hear Joe, please?
Yes, I can hear him. I think he went to
Okay.
Pristia, but he's back, so I can hear him.
Chairman, Joe, did you hear Chairman?
No, I didn't.
Chairman say he believe you went to Pristia, but you're back. Anyway, so in Chroma and Founders Day, your take on it, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very good morning to Mr. Kitiosin and Mr. Odupong and everybody. I mean,
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Joe.
Watching you on Facebook. First of all, Mr. Odupong did make a comment which I would want to respond to. He did say something like he's so much embarrassed or ashamed by the actions and inactions of the young men and women in Ghana today, because apparently everyone wants to be rich. In the wake of day, everyone wants to be rich, and they are not interested in hard work. But you see, Mr. Odupong, when a 78-year-old is living like a 16, 17-year-old now living his fantasy, what then do you expect? Someone who is waiting for his last breath to die is now living like a king. What then do you expect an 18, 20-year-old to do? You don't want him to also live like a king?
So by all means possible.
Exactly. So because if your grandparents, because I believe, Mr. Odupong, you have children, and your children, you want them to be better than you. But if you, Mr. Odupong, you cannot give better education, better food, better shelter for your children, but you are renting private jets, what do you want your children to do? They will have to kill you and get the money. Is that not right?
Was that the only option? Is it killing?
You see, it is not the option, but where is the option? What other option is there? You have the money, you have the resources to give opportunity, to give hope to your children. You are not giving it to them. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? You tell me, is there jobs in Ghana that people, young boys and women in Ghana have got to do that they are not doing? Are we saying that there is employment, that there is a company there, it has advertised job and they are not getting young men to come for the job? No. But then the leaders are buying V8. Akufo-Addo, 79, 80 years. He is now riding in the sky, bathing in the sky. And you want the young boy who has to enjoy the good life now, you want him to be in abject poverty while the old men are chilling. It won't work like that. Unfortunately, I do not support it. I do not support quick fix. I want us to do it in a way, but that is the trend. That is what our leadership is giving us. That is what, even in this country, there are people who know their grandmothers and grandfathers have houses and they want them to die so that they can have the houses and sell it and make money. It's everywhere. But you see, it all boils down to sensitive leadership. A leader that knows that, look, there is an opportunity cost. We have to look at what is our priority. Is renting a private jet the priority? And of course, that also takes me into the argument we are having now. And Nkrumah forfeited whatever he was doing in the UK and America and whatever to come to Ghana and to help the people of Ghana or Gold Coast at that time. Akufo-Addo left UK to go to Ghana, and now when he was in UK, you couldn't rent a private jet. He went to Ghana and he's renting a private jet.
He's a president.
Kwame Nkrumah left. Kwame Nkrumah was the president. Kwame Nkrumah left the UK, went to Ghana, and look at it. So for me, when this issue of whether Kwame Nkrumah was the founder or when this issue arises.
Oh, I'm sure you must have read through the platform, the argument of realized yesterday.
I've heard everything, but you see, for me, someone who believes in Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who believes that Kwame Nkrumah is the Messiah of our time. He's the Messiah. Even the Western world have tried to, pitch Mandela against him. Even in his grave, when he has only one leg standing on, Mandela could not even match him. How much more JB Dankwa and all those? But you see, the question we need to ask ourselves, if you are an Nkrumahist, don't be let down by this kind of, this feeble argument and all that. The question we need to ask ourselves now.
Hello,
everybody saying
Mr. Kwabram Krum Mwako. Good afternoon. Hello. Is everything okay? Pacho Biaboko.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Joe, continue, please.
Yeah. Why is everybody mentioning Kwame Nkrumah's name? We said we had big says. Is that not right?
That's right.
So the time you have given me, we have Kwame Nkrumah, we have JB Danka, we have Akufo-Addo and all the rest. The time you have given me now, the rest of the five, tell me what they did. At least Kwame Nkrumah, I can talk of Tema, I can talk of a motorway. Kwame Nkrumah, I can talk of Akoso Modam. Tell me the other five. Tell me what they did, so that we can then say that they were part of the founding. You see, these are people who were throwing bombs when Osama bin Laden was not born. These people, you see, it is. I have always said that Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo, is so petty. I have said that, and I'll say it over and over again. You see, the issue to equalize his parents, to equalize his grandfathers and grandmothers. Look, he can go and bring all the dead people in his family and compare them to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. You see, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, we are not fighting for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana. Nobody is fighting for him. His name in history is already written in letters of gold. At places that cannot be erased.
I think I also heard about the comparison of him to Mandela, Kofi Annan, and all that. Where Mr. Chairman Yosen thought.
How do you compare Mandela to Kwame?
And then Mr. Yosen found it very, very amusing.
Mandela was a traitor. Mandela, he came from prison because of an agreement he had with these people. So that, we are going to get you out of prison and make you president. And this is the condition. 1, 2, 3. Why is it that the likes of Mugabe and all that have issues with Mandela? Mandela is not and Mandela, the issue of Mandela, he fought only for apartheid South Africa. And even that, he had to, kind of have some corners, before. Kwame Nkrumah, you are talking about the liberation of the black man and not just Africa. We simply make a mistake. It was the liberation, the freedom of the black man. And that is why he made that bold statement that the independence of Ghana was meaningless until there was the total liberation of the black man everywhere in the world. You understand? So when you are comparing, big fish with, this kind of, people, JB Dankwa can be compared to my father because at the end of the day, I mean, he educated his family. My father also educated me. He hasn't done anything to Ghana. What can you attribute JB Dankwa to? What can you attribute JB Dankwa in the history of our country? What can you, apart from the fact that they wrote a letter to the British telling the British that Ghana did not deserve independence? Do you understand? So, as an Nkrumah, if you are an Nkrumah like Mr. Kitiosen is, don't ever engage yourself in this pettiness. Don't, because when a happy Ghana, a president of a happy Ghana is comparing his family members to Kwame Nkrumah, a country like America, a country like Britain, a country like Australia, they know the stature and the status of Kwame Nkrumah. He is peerless. The man is peerless. Where is the statue of JB Dankwa and all of them in the African Union? Even that one alone speaks volume. Where are their statues? Where are their statues? You understand? So for me, and you see, this is the reason why we are not going anywhere. Because if we are going to have petty arguments like this,
okay,
we're not going to get anywhere. We are looking at a man who sacrificed his life. Yes, Mr. Kitiosen did make a fantastic point that there were other people who had already laid the foundation, like the Fanti chiefs and all that, who had laid the foundation, the enabling ground. But you see, we could also say that Moses, the lives of Elijah, laid the foundation. But who is the Messiah? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the Messiah. Are we then going to say Moses was the Messiah? No, Jesus Christ is the Messiah. So when we are talking about really founded Ghana, whose blueprint.
Okay, Joe, if you want to end in 2 minutes, let me come to Mr. Mwako and look at his view from your where you will land, please. So you'll give me 2 minutes.
if we want to have the one whose blueprint is what has made Ghana what it is today, and even long years after his demise, we are still talking, we are asking about what happened to the industry set up by Kwame Nkrumah, what happened to the motorway set up by Kwame Nkrumah, what happened to the Akosomo Dam set up by Kwame Nkrumah. And these are the things we would have thought a brainless and certificateless president like Akufo-Addo would have come and kind of implement. Instead of comparing your father, you have the chance to pitch yourself against Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Why don't you get us a new Akosomo Dam? Why don't you get us a new motorway? Why don't you get us a new university?
Okay.
But with
that, I could
administration.
Well, he's made understanding. Though he's left with about 2 or 3 years to go, he said they've not finished with the promises and things they intended to do. So maybe the last, he's going to surprise you in the last years. You never know.
You've given me 2 minutes, but you see, this president, even if we ask God to give him more years and more time, no election, he cannot do anything. You see, the man came to steal. The man, you see, he has no, and the man, you see, you remember when he said he was misled? He don't even read because he's not a leader. He only came to fulfill a childhood fantasy. He only came because he felt Ghana belonged to his father. His father was mistreated, and so he had to pay Ghanaians back what mistreatment they rendered onto his father. This man is not a leader.
Okay.
Because and you see, Doctor, I want to end by this. I have problem with people who say that NDC, MPP, they are brothers and all that. Doctor, I said this some time ago.
Okay.
In this world, there is freedom of liberty. There is freedom of association. Right? So you, doctor, you can decide to belong to whichever association you want. It is your right. Is that not it?
It is.
But the moment you belong to the association of armed robbers, you will be arrested. Why? Because it is not good. Because they wreck nations, they wreck people's life, and they cause all sort of havoc to people. And so, for me, I believe MPP people now, they are not our brothers. They need to be arrested because they belong to the association that is destroying Ghana. And they are destroying
but the tenure of office is not yet. Maybe after that, you never know. I mean, Kwame Prepra and these guys were jailed after,
I am saying, what harm have they not caused to the family of Kwame Nkrumah?
Oh,
what harm have they not caused to the family of?
Well, let's leave that for another day. Let me.
These people do
Joe,
not
can
need
I? I
and,
think.
And you see, I'm coming. Just. You see.
You see
the message Segabo brought.
Yes.
You read them. You saw the message.
Yes.
The demeaning aspect. Just wanting to portray that they bought tickets for as if he couldn't even afford his own ticket. Kwame Nkrumah was an illegal immigrant, someone who couldn't even travel. You see, that is how they are. This is who they are. And Segabo, you see, with all apologies and with all due respect, he's lived in UK here and he knows the truth. But you see, he wants to portray Kwame Nkrumah like he was a vagabond. He had no even father, no mother could even afford to bring him back. So it took the MPP family members to bring him to. Oh my God!
Okay,
these people, they do not deserve space in
Can you hold on? Let me come to. Good afternoon, Mr. Amwako.
Hello. Good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thanks. Can you hear me?
I can hear you live and clear, sir. And then welcome for the first time on my show. And now that we've been part today, we're looking at the founders as yesterday was. I know you're struggling to hear me. I don't know what the problem is, but we're looking at the founders of our lands, and Nkrumah plays a major role in the achieving these. What is your take? At least I can tell you've come of age, and you can tell us a bit about what do you know about our country right through the PNDC era and Nkrumah's time till now.
If it is a question about founders, I think obviously there were a whole lot of people involved in Ghana's liberation, from colonial rule and eventually to our independence. But anyone who has read Ghana's history would remember a delegation from the old Gold Coast that came to London to see, I think, Queen Victoria or her successor to complain about the British plan to sort of seize Ghana's land, the Aboriginal society, as they became known as. They played a role in ensuring that our lands are not stolen from us like the British did in Southern Africa, or Eastern Africa for that matter. And then post Second World War issues and the injustices which were done to the ex-soldiers who had fought for the British and for the Allies in Europe and in Asia and Japan, or Malaysian forest.
Right.
They also played a role because obviously they saw that the British were not invincible in the sense that the British were routed by the Japanese in Malaysia, and that gave them the confidence that the British can be defeated. Although in our case we did not go into armed struggle, if that is the case, if one wants to make a point. And then there were the old the people who were known as the intelligentsia in the 40s, who obviously were not happy with the colonial rule. But for them, there were issues. There were 2 points that I think they were interested in. The first is that most of them were merchants and professionals who were excluded from lucrative legal services and the import and export business, or like the merchandise business. So most of them were interested more in replacing the colonial, the white people who controlled our economy, and less interested in immediate independence for Ghana. Nonetheless, they played a role in the sense that they formed the UGCC, and from there invited Nkrumah, who was domiciled in London at that time, to become the General Secretary of the UGCC. And we all know that the rest is history. So, I mean, they all played a role. But the critical question I want to look at is, it's a question of who was the major force in driving to achieve Ghana's independence. And in my view, there's only one person, and that person is Kwame Nkrumah. And that he did not fight alone. There were a whole lot of people behind him who supported him, who provided funds, everything, comfort, material comfort, even a car for him to be able to drive around and hold meetings and places for him to stay. So if we want to honor him, at that time, if Ghana wants to honor him and want to use his birthday as a Founders Day, I personally haven't got any problem with that, because it's a recognition of the role that he played in getting Ghana's independence. It does not mean that other people did not play a role. It's a question of who played the most important role and who was in the car seat, who drove and pushed for independence, and who was even maligned, betrayed as a communist by most people of the UGCC when he left that party to form his own party in 1949. And thereafter, there were others who filed legal suits against him in court. And eventually he ended up in prison
Oh,
for
dear.
agitation and the rest of it.
I see.
I think in that respect, we have to pay homage for his role in that respect. But that does not mean that other people did not play a role.
Okay.
If the old intelligentsia were very conservative and they didn't really care very much about Ghana's independence, I'm not saying they didn't care. They did care. They wanted independence, but solely because they wanted to take over the government in order for them to have access to the merchandise business and the administrative business that were occupied by the colonialists.
Mm-hmm.
And besides, they also did not know exactly what type of independence they wanted, because independence could mean a whole lot of things to so many other people.
Yeah.
And even when that independence should be given to Ghana. And Nkrumah, for his part, said that we want our independence now, and that we prefer independence in something to servitude in tranquility. I can't
I
quite
think
remember.
he said independence with danger.
Independence,
he said,
sorry?
Prefer independence with danger rather than servitude in tranquility.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
he knew what he wanted and he fought for it.
Okay.
And also he also knew how to use pressure to bear on the colonial administrators. That is why he embarked on this protest called Positive Action, which was a Ghanaian non-violent but very effective way of campaigning for in order to achieve something, right? And when the Positive Action was being undertaken, most of the people who were the so-called Big Five, I think, was it Big Six? Some of them betrayed Nkrumah. They called him a communist. They called him a whole lot of other names, and that he was being controlled by the old USSR and the rest of it. And one must remember that we are talking about the era of the Cold War in Europe. That was the Cold War between Europe and the old USSR. So in that context, if somebody was deemed or was called a communist, it meant that he was there to destroy the interest of the West. That even if he was calling for independence, he was doing so in order to use the Soviet Union to undermine the influence of the West. I think one must understand that.
Yes.
So that is why I'm saying that Nkrumah was the foremost. If we're talking about funders, or Ghana's independence, the Ghana's independence and the role he played in it. He was the foremost figure in that struggle for our independence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nwako.
I don't see anything wrong with honoring his memory or his birthday as a Founders Day.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was a bit insightful, apart from the fee I've had from Chairman and Mr. Odupong. You added a bit to it. Far from my mind, you're going to trace it from there. But Chairman, as I was saying, before I come to Odupong, you recollect all the traits of Mr. Nwako, what he's walked us through.
Yes.
I want to add a bit. It must have given you a bit of memories you had wanted to add to it.
Yes, I will say thank you to Mr. Nwako. Before I forget, I will need his email address at the backyard.
All right,
Mr. After everything,
no
because I am doing a big article, and I want to give him a copy. I'm going to publish something very soon. I'll give him a copy.
That's
Yes,
right.
Mr. Nwako said it all. But Kwame Nkrumah did one thing that was specific, was so significant. He brought the two Ks together. Dr. Morton, do you know the two Ks?
I don't know the two cases.
No, I don't know the two Ks. Mr. Mwaku will know. Nikita Khrushchev of the USSR.
Okay.
And Kennedy of the United States of America. Kwame Nkrumah brought those two people to be thinking he's an African. He brought these two sides. He said Nkrumah and the two Ks. That was in the Daily Graphic.
Right.
I was a little boy, but I remember Kwame Nkrumah brings the two Ks together because even Europeans.
The question you asked me, if you were a little boy, how old was I?
I think at that time you were dead. You were not born yet. I tell you. You know what I mean? Nkrumah was a man who was fearless. He spoke to Kennedy. He spoke to Khrushchev to come together, to think together. Nkrumah saw something, Mr. Wakun, for saying one particular thing. When we had independence, it was very difficult for Ghanaians to study in the United Kingdom without paying. Nkrumah was so sensible, so wise, that he went to the Eastern Bloc. That is East Germany, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Hungary, USSR, and took Ghanaians there to go and study. That is how. That is why Ghanaians went there. And even China. And you took somebody from Volta region to go to China, one every boy. He ran away because the Chinese people did not make him comfortable. They hated him. So that I got his book, An African Student in China. That's why he wrote that book. And that guy sneaked out. God knows how he did it, and went to United States of America. That is why where he wrote his book, An African Student in China. But then Nkrumah had seen something in the Eastern Bloc. That's why he negotiated with them for Africans, for Ghanaians to go and study there.
Oh, right.
That's why Ghanaians want to go and study there. Nkrumah was the first African man to go to the Eastern Bloc. In those days, they say it's communist. Communist is a dangerous thing to touch. Chinese and Russians, there were no go areas. But we take independence, and the British people, we have to pay through your nose to come and study in London. How many Ghanaians could do that? Few people.
Wow.
Few people could come and study here. We understand that. So Kwame Nkrumah took Ghanaians to go there to study for free. And at the same time, the USSR, the Eastern Blocs, wanted Africans to come to them, but we were scared of them. We didn't trust them. We didn't believe them. When Nkrumah opened the floodgates. So when I say Nkrumah's story is like Jesus Christ, some people don't understand the language. Nkrumah's story is like that, the story of Jesus Christ. I think Joe said something like that. Because before Jesus Christ, there were other prophets, isn't it? There were prophets. There were bigger prophets before Jesus. How come we have Christmas in the name of Jesus Christ? Yeah. There was Abraham there. There was Moses, even Adam. They were all there, but they were not mentioned. They mentioned Jesus Christ. JP Dankwa, UGCC people, they were there. They were there. Mr. JP Dankwa, Beche Pilamter, all these big guys were there. Why? How come Nkrumah took the mantle to take the independence? All animals are equal, but some are more equal than the others. Nkrumah was more equal than all of them.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
see, that's the story. That's the story. So I thank Mr. Mwaku too much. I thank him so much.
All
An
right,
article is coming.
No problem.
Okay.
Yes.
Lance, Chairman, I don't want to cut you. And you want to say an article is coming, and when should we look forward to it?
It's going to take about 10 days.
Okay. That's fine.
It's going to take about 10 days because we have to prepare. Myself, including, of course, I represent the Progressive People's Party here in the UK, with PPP, PNC, CPP, Ghana Union Movement. We must come together. Come together to go for 2024 general election. That's what it's going to be about. That's what the article is going to be about. I'm calling all Nkrumahs or even non-Nkrumahs, anybody who is not an NDC and NPP, please, let's come together and prepare. We've got 2 years, God knows. Prepare for December 2024. We will have an impact. I'm not saying we are just going to take power, but we will have representation in Parliament to make sensible contribution to the debate in the House of Parliament. That's why Ghana can go up. But if we leave it to our brothers in NDC and NPP alone, it will take us 50 more years. By that time, even Dr. Morton will be dead. For me, I'll be here. I don't want that to happen. So we've got to come together.
Yes, sir.
That's what it's going to be about. So after that, give me Mr. Amoku's email address. And for Joe, I've got his email. Joe, I'm not sure he's got the email address, but check if it's over. Give it to me. Thank you very much.
All right, Joe.
Thank you.
Is Joe there? Hang on. Let me see if I can get Joe, and then we can. Hello, Joe. Joe, can you hear me? I don't think Joe can hear.
I think he's dropped. He will come back. No problem.
Joe is.
Can I make another comment?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go on.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My concern is really about, in my view, this old discussion about Nkrumah, UGCC, and all that is, in my view, it's superfluous. In the sense that we are dwelling more on personalities rather than on issues that are affecting current Ghanaians. Okay, history is there. We can learn from history. But at the same time, we have to make it relevant to current situation. I mean, Ghana is facing enormous problems, not least in terms of the economy. I think somebody was mentioning mass unemployment of the young people, etc., etc. And those are issues that, in my view, we should now focus on and attempt to address them.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we got every right to criticize anyone and anybody who wants to denigrate the name of Kwame Nkrumah, because it seems to me that to some people, to some Ghanaians, he never did anything right. They find it quite difficult to accept that.
Okay.
Even if they don't like him, there must be one or two things that he did right that they can appreciate, but they do not want to do that.
Oh, right.
And that to me is like a kindergarten thing. My father has got a big car than your father. That sort of business. But we're talking about a country, and so we should move on from those petty personality clashes.
Yes.
It's not relevant. Let's concentrate on what is going on now. Let's see if there are some practical solutions which could be offered. And of course, the current government is not, obviously, in my view, does not listen very well to advice, or the people around the current, the party doesn't listen to anybody's advice. They seem to be quite denying, in my view, the reality facing Ghanaians, because our economy is a mess. And that has been confirmed not only by people living in it, but for international financial institutions like the World Bank, IMF, and the company responsible for assessing the creditworthiness of nations. Something and poor, But all those reports that have come out have been denied by the MPP. So you begin to wonder whether they are really serious in terms of looking at the issues and then attempting to address them rather than dwelling on petty issues like Founders Day, what did Nkrumah do or didn't do and all that business.
All right.
In my view, they
It's not
really
relevant.
quite petty, not important.
Okay. All right, Joe. Are you there? Okay. Mr. Odupong, you had wanted to say something. I think you. Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, your line was muted. I know that you've got a child care in your hand sometimes. Anyway, so as unfortunately you didn't hear Mr. Mwaku when he was talking about whether or not Nkrumah did anything, or some people have the idea that Nkrumah really did not do anything. I mean, it's just part of people together. It was a collective move. It wasn't as if Nkrumah solely did anything.
Yeah, but you see, where I disagree a bit with my father is that, yes, of course, I mean, he's made a valid point. No matter the circumstance, in every situation, someone might have helped Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But then today we are looking at these people who are labeled as the Big Five. Are they the ones who helped Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to achieve the aim? That is the question. And so Mr. Odupong also asked, when independence was being declared, where were these Big Five who helped him to achieve independence? So if today we are saying we are celebrating a certain JB Dankwa and Akufo-Addo and the rest, the point is that at what point did they come to sign an MOU with Dr. Kwame Nkrumah when Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had left the UGCC to form the CPP? At what point in our history did they come, sit down and say, okay, we are going to merge as one political party, or we are going to help you to achieve independence? That never existed. You understand?
Yeah.
So if we are talking about the people who really helped Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, nobody is saying that Kwame Nkrumah did it all by himself. No, he couldn't have done that. And in fact, it would have been like a chicken in the soup if it was him alone. The British people would have just split him into pieces. But he had people backing him. And the point is that you would only have people backing you when you are charismatic, when you are inspirational, and when you know and you take into consideration the plight of your people. And that is who Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was. Now, let us see something. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had come from Britain. At that time, Mr. Kitioson had just elaborated that it wasn't easy to come to Britain. But this JB Dankwa and the rest, just as they did in 1992, that they will not sit down and write a constitution with the truck pushers and all that. They said they wanted to move with the elite. And Dr. Kwame Nkrumah felt that, no, I am a son of a poor man, a poor woman. I would get down to the level of the poor people and mingle with them. And that is why Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was so charismatic and people got along with him.
Okay.
So these people, to them, it was all about the elite, those who have gone to Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Pennsylvania University, and all that. You see, so there was no point Kwame Nkrumah was knowing who they were. No point Kwame Nkrumah was going to sit down with them.
Okay.
And look, from history, we are told that Akufo-Addo, his father was the judge who sentenced Obi Chebilamte as being a terrorist. Akufo-Addo's father sentenced Obi Chebilamte to prison as being a terrorist. Now, how was a terrorist going to be part of the freedom fighting of Ghana when this same person that today we are saying was part of the freedom movement was throwing bomb at the one who was fighting for freedom?
Sad.
Unless you want to tell me he was sleeping and then waking up in the sleep and you see, the story doesn't add up.
No.
But you see, it all boils down to the point of pettiness. Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo has been given the greatest opportunity, the greatest privilege to pitch himself against Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And he doesn't see it like that. He would rather want to pitch his dead father who didn't do anything, who was impeached and thrown out of office for being a useless leader. He wants to pitch him instead against Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But you see, he forgets. You see, that man, I've always said, the man is fake. And that's why his accent, everybody has been talking about how his accent is. The man was a CPP man. This is a man whose father was part of the UGCC, yet he saw a vision in Kwame Nkrumah. He was with Kwame Nkrumah.
Oh, right.
He was with Kwame Nkrumah. You see, but where I agree with my father who just spoke is that, look, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is peerless. And like I said, he is the Messiah. Even in the history of the black man,
yes.
Kwame Nkrumah is is among the greatest people who have sought to emancipate the black man, who have sought to liberate the black man, who have sought to give freedom to the black man. So that argument is flawed. This is an argument that died before it was given birth to. This argument is flawed. It is just born out of pettiness. But you see, the point is that today, we are faced with a lot of challenges. It is up to a government to provide leadership. It is up to a government to provide direction. But here we are. Our only direction is to change date of birth and date of death and all that. That is the only direction leadership can afford us. The only way we can think about the progress into the future, the only way we can create an enabling environment that can make Dr. Morton's son also come tomorrow, and in the next 20 years, we'll be talking about Dr. Morton's son, because his son has risen up through the ranks and done what Dr. Kwame Nkrumah could not do. Today, that opportunity is about when who was born, when what was found, when what was found. You see,
yes,
it's disgraceful.
All right,
it's disgraceful. I would not. You see, we could have used this time to be talking about other things that are happening. How the NDC has sat down there. They said they want power. They have sat down there for Akufo-Addo to amass himself with all the loans, and yet he has nothing to show. Why the NDC keep approving? I am looking at challenging the NDC not to approve the Minister for Gender and whatever. They need to show Akufo-Addo power. They don't need to approve anybody. And the question is, why is it that NDC knew that Ken Ofori-Atta always had a percentage in every loan Ghana contracted? His bank was the financing advisor for the loans. Why did the NDC not refuse those loans and make a categorical statement that, look, the loans are going to be subjected to the fact that if Ken Ofori-Atta and his bank is not part of that loan agreement? Why did they sit down there and allow Ken Ofori-Atta to use his bank to be engaging in all these loans and did not refuse to agree for that loans to be contracted? Why have they sat down? You see, we cannot talk about the destruction of Ghana now, from 2016 to 2022, without the involvement of the NDC. The NDC is part of the destruction.
Thank you very much.
I want the NDC to come to power, but they are part of it, because you see, they said that if an elderly man sit down there and allow the children to misbehave, when we are talking about people who misbehave, he is part of it. You've sat down there and allowed Akufo-Addo to have all his way, left, right, center. I mean, how? How then do you want me to trust you and give you leadership?
Yeah.
And then also, another thing. I think, yes, in as much as sometimes I differ with Mr. Odupong and all that, and the issue of the third force, which I believe, look, it's not going to materialize. It's not going to work now. You see,
but the likes of Joe, who don't trust any of these parties, unless you talk about one being better than the other, should rather welcome the third force.
You see, it is the nature of the people we are talking about. That is what makes the difficulty. Let me tell you, I'm a young boy, but I've been involved in a lot of things. Do you know why? I'm from Pristia, Mr. Kitiosen said, and thanks to Mr. Kitiosen for reminding me where I come.
Hey, and I am also from Takwa. For Pristia, they are our villagers. Thank you very much.
Some of the issues, one of the reasons why Pristia Mine Stars could not survive was the fact that Joe, I'm an Accra House of Folk fan.
Okay.
Also, I support Pristia Mine Stars. Now, when there is a match between Pristia Mine Stars and Accra House of Folk, because I know if Mine Stars were to beat House of Folk, Kotoko will win the league.
That's right.
What do? I rather support House of Folk to beat Mine Stars.
Oh, you make your clarification. I think that's why you are a bit of NDC.
It is the same with the politics in Ghana. Any member who is a CPP or PPP, Mr. Kitiosen and PNC, they have a soft spot for one of these two big political parties.
Okay.
And so me, I'm an Nkrumahist, but I hate the MPP because of what they did to Kwame Nkrumah. And I know if I vote for CPP, they will never win. So who do I vote for? Instead of MPP coming, I'd rather vote for NDC to win.
Yes.
Are you getting it?
I do get you clearly.
The issue of third force, we need to look at it very well because, first of all, look at the CPP itself. How many members have now gone to MPP and how many have gone to NDC?
Okay.
Look at PNC.
Yes.
The likes of Bernard Mona and the likes of whoever, where are they now? Look at this guy. I happen to have had a press conference with him. We used to go to see. He was the secretary of CPP at some point. He used to be on Peace FM almost every morning. But because the MPP has fed him, he talks as if he has no brains.
Oh,
He
dear.
has no brains.
Okay,
You understand?
we have limited time. Not you. We have just 10 minutes to go. We finish our work. I know we didn't start early due to some personal reasons, but if you land in 2 minutes, let me get Mr. Odupong. Come to Chairman Yosin, and then I'll finally come to Mr. Amwaku, please.
So in summing up, for this version, I want to state that look, we should not, as a country and as believers of the ideas and the ideologies of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, we should not engage ourselves in this pettiness. We should not engage in this pettiness.
Okay.
Because every child, you see, it's like comparing Wayne Rooney to Lionel Messi, or comparing Raheem Sterling to Diego Maradona. Maradona is dead, but he's the greatest player of all time. Even they say Messi could not even play 80% of the game Maradona played. So there are people, no matter
it's
what,
true. It's true. You are right.
Erase history. And that is the stature of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. So, Mr. Kitios and Mr. Odupong, don't waste your breath talking about these people. Don't waste your breath on this petty argument. The man is petty. The man wants Ghanaians to talk so that he can still steal money and be sleeping in the sky with his girlfriend and all that, so that we don't talk about it.
All right. Thank you very much, Joe.
We're going to talk about the real issue. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Odupong.
Yes.
It's been a while. You put in a word for these issue of Kwame Nkrumah and those days. You wanna your contemporaries, Mr. Amwaku, Chairman Yosin, is giving us a bit. I know you've talked about some, but any more that has come into mind you want to add to it?
Well, need I say more? After what we've heard from our speakers this morning, but
so your voice. Okay, go on.
Well, Nkrumah was able to work with the West and the East, as they called him a communist.
Yeah.
But he also founded something like the non-alliance movement, because to him, the world was not just about the West or the East. So we have to be on our own, and hence the non-alliance movement, in order to think for ourselves and develop ourselves, because we cannot be servants of other people.
Yeah.
And so here he's, as somebody said, he's matchless.
Okay.
There can't be anybody to match him. International, whether Ghana or internationally, he stood in his time.
Okay.
With Ghana, unfortunately, as we have said, it's not hasn't developed the youth as before. Hence, most of the youth have turned into Sakawa, and because, as I said, the politics of today is geared towards who wins elections, who takes power. Hence, both parties have got Asuka boys and the rest. Why do we want them again? That's the reason for the third faults. Unfortunately, to some, they are blind to NDC, they are blind to NPP. Let them be blind to them. But those who are enlightened and see the light must join the third force and bring change, the fundamental change that we need. And based on, we've got a history, and I say the blueprint by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We can look at his 7-year development plan. There are so many things we can learn from that man and move on.
Okay.
That's where we are.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Odupong. Final word. Chairman, one word, and then I'll come to Mr. Amwako and then Joe on the phone. Mr. Tagba was trying to get in. For some reason, he's not been able to. I don't know what the problem is. Hopefully, we get him next Friday. Chairman, your final word, and then I'll come to Mr. Amwako and then Joe finalize everything.
Thank you very much. I'll say a big thank you to Mr. Odupong. What he's just said is very powerful. We are talking of third force, but the problem is that I know about 6 leaders. Ivor Greenstreet, Samia Yaba Nkrumah. I know them, Bernard Mona, and I know a few of these leaders. My party has been working with them. Progressive People's Party, we're working with Convention People's Party where we left, with PNC, UGCC, Dr. Herbert Latte. I remember we had been planning to get together, but it is always a problem here or there. We do not lose hope. Personally, I've never given hope because I have been writing for all of us to get together. Our story is going to be like NPP, New Patriotic Party. Their story was exactly that of United Party. There were 6 political parties in Nkrumah's time.
Wow.
The 6 political parties in Nkrumah's time, they couldn't win election. CPP was winning all the time. But in Nkrumah's government, CPP government, after independence, declared there was a law that banned all these 6 political parties because they were formed on tribal grounds. How can we say NPP, Northern People's Party? For Northerners, Northern People's Party, Ashanti Youth Association, and Loga Youth Association, and the rest of it. Buzia, National Liberation Movement. So in Nkrumah's CPP, they banned all these parties. That's why they formed United Party. And I tell you, today, we are also going to reform United Party again.
All right.
Do you understand? That's why I want all these small parties, you can come back together as another second round of United Party, and we find a way forward. Finally, I must give respect and regard to JB Dankwa, Ubechebi Lamte, all these UGCC MPP guys in there. Without them, there would not have been Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah challenged them at elections. That's why he became an enemy. We are not even talking about that. Without JB Dankwa, the UPP, UP opposition and all that, there wouldn't have been Kwame Nkrumah. It's just like 2 boxers. Without one opponent, you cannot be a winner. So it takes 2 to tango. So I've got respect to JB Dankwa, Obechebi Lamte. I remember in my little days, Obechebi Lamte was organizing the coup d'etat to throw bombs. That's why he was arrested.
All right.
I remember at a place called Obenemasi in Ghana, Eastern region, Obenemasi camp.
All right.
I remember Mr. Obechebi Lamte was the key person planning a coup with Tego, and I remember a few names. You know what I mean? But God bless their souls, all of them. I'm an absolute Christian. God bless them. Without them, there wouldn't have been Kwame Nkrumah.
Yes. All right.
God bless them. God bless them. Opposition, UPP, UP, or whatnot. It doesn't matter. But today, what hurts me is that as a Ghanaian, if you are going to Accra, you can't even get a plane to go.
Oh dear.
British Airways is not going to go. When Kwame Nkrumah brought Ghana Airways, Ghanaians would have gone on Ghana Airways. We would have gone. Even Black Star Line has ships. It's all gone. Ghana Railway Line is gone. And the buses, Kwame Nkrumah's buses, it's all gone. But when we are talking of economic development, we need an airline. We need railway line. we need buses, we need good roads. All these things have gone down. So that's why we want to come in to make sure these things come back again. Even in England itself, Industrial Revolution, I've studied how they did it. How they did it. Transport, road. You need good road, good transport, good railway lines and all that to succeed. Otherwise, we are not going to go anywhere. Let us pray that God bless Ghanaians for us to see the light. And please, anybody who knows other political party groups, please let me know. Send your details to Dr. Morton. I'll pick it up and communicate with people. It's going to be serious now. The next 10 days, my article will come out, bringing all third parties together.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
And God bless. I'm proud to see Mr. Our big man here today.
Mr. Mwako.
Mr. Mwako, God bless you. God bless you for your time. God bless you. God bless you.
I'm not a God person, so but anyway, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Mr. Mwako, your last bit, and then
right.
we'll be finishing the show.
Yeah.
I think obviously Ghana faces a whole lot of problems, and nobody is going to solve our problems for us but ourselves.
Yeah.
And that calls for, in my view, a new approach to the way politics is organized in Ghana. Because in my view, all those parties, they only become active when elections are due. But no wonder that the smaller parties fail miserably. Mm-hmm. Not only because that they haven't really got much support, but they are not known, and people suspect that they are only there. They want to come to power to chop money, right? So, in my view, I think that those who are interested in politics and want power, must look at how the current political setup has failed to deliver to most Ghanaians, and what then needs to be done. In my view, the current winner takes all politics is definitely not fit for Ghana. We may have to look at the Constitution. So we have to talk about the Constitution and how it may be amended, or it can be amended to make it fit the purpose that Ghanaians want.
Okay.
There are people who are more interested in power. They are interested in power only in terms of power, what power can give them, but not how they can use the power to deliver for majority of Ghanaians. I personally don't belong to any political party, but then having lived in Ghana for so many years, and I'm an old man now, as you can see. I was around when I was a small boy in Nkrumah, I was around. So I never saw him in person, but I was aware what his government was doing. But anybody who wants, in my view, to go into politics in Ghana, I think it's a very good idea that there are people who want to go into politics because they want to change. They got ideas and they got plans, and they are not just interested in power for the sake of power or what power can give them, but what they can give to the people of Ghana. So any political party that can convince me that they can do that will get I can't vote anyway because it will get my support, not my vote, but will get my support.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Joe, finally.
Yeah. Doc, first of all, let me say thank you for having me today.
Thank you.
Because I am highly humbled by the fact that if you listen to the panel members, Mr. Odupong, Mr. Kitioso, Mr. Mwafin, and the way they were giving the informations and the records, the history, it tells you these are people who are my fathers, you know. So
Yeah.
I am humbled to be part of this panel, and
Okay.
I am also learning a lot from them, and I do respect whatever everyone is saying. Yes, we are all Ghanaians and we want the betterment of Ghana. Only that sometimes it's like we are from Kumasi going to Accra. Some will say, I want to pass through Takoradi. Some will say, I want to pass through Obuasi, something like that. The end result is we getting to Accra. That is the most important thing. So Ghana having a befitting place is what is important for all of us.
Thank you.
I strongly agree with Mr. Kitiosi, even though I didn't hear him that well, but the issue of third force and all that, it is not like I entirely disagree with the process, but the point is that if it has to be done, it has to be done properly.
Okay.
If it has to be reconnecting all the children of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and bringing them, and you see, there is one thing bringing people together as Nkrumahs and not knowing what Nkrumah stands for or what Nkrumah stood for. They don't know the ideals, the ideology. They don't know what Nkrumah stood for. These people, you will bring them, and every topic that comes their way, they will follow because they don't even know who they are following. So it is important when you are bringing Nkrumahs together, we don't just bring them together, but we bring them and educate them on the ideals, the principles Dr. Kwame Nkrumah stood on. And that is very important. And that is why today I was talking about Kabila. The lives of Kabila all came into CPP, and they used that as the springboard to be known, to be famous. And now the MPP is feeding him, and he's happy going on radio to defend someone who threw bomb. And you see, if Kwame Nkrumah was our father, truly, like as we all say, Jesus Christ is our father. Would we go to Satan, who killed Jesus Christ,
No.
and ever join forces with him? Would any CPP member, if we truly are genuine CPP people and true children of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, how come we, at a point, merge with the MPP to kind of win political power? When these people
All right, Joe,
after Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
I think you have to wrap up. Our time is up.
So thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
having
sir.
me. But then, like I said, we need to mobilize well, and we need to apologize for certain mistakes we have done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Anybody want to say something? It looks like anybody want to add a bit to it? It looks like you're ready to say something.
Let Mr. Amaku say a prayer for us.
Oh, I'm afraid you don't know me, but I'm not a God person. I don't.
Okay. Let us pray.
Okay.
May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with all of us now and forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Mr. Maku, or simple.
Oh, I'm not against people praying. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
Mr.
Joe wants to know that. Joe wants to know if Dr. Endum taught you how to pray. You only said the Lord's Prayer.
Well, Dr. Endum is a Roman Catholic, and I'm a Methodist. But we came out of Roman Catholic anyway. All churches came out of Roman Catholic.
Okay.
So
Joe said this is a typical prayer of St. Augustine.
Yes, prayer. I know. Augustines are all Catholics. I know that. Thank you for that question.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
All right. Can we go now?
Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot. Nice meeting you all.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Hopefully we meet again online. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.